You wondered how to put flowers in resin? Well, it's surprisingly easy. Let me show you. We've got the ever popular little trinket tray here, and we've got the IntoResin Hippo. So we're going to have a go with both of these. Right, back in a moment with some resin. So just stirring up the resin, my usual resin tips here, and yeah, the resin I'm using is the 2-part epoxy. It's a 1-to-1 from Let's Resin. I just find it reliable, really easy to use. Cures beautifully, and it doesn't tend to yellow or anything either. And as I'm actually crafting in the garden, I haven't bothered with my respirator mask today, and I can tell you, I'm not smelling anything at all from it. Nice. Now, my usual resin mixing tips, nice and slowly. I always stir too fast because I'm just hopeless like that. But mix it nice and slowly until you've got all of your stringiness and cloudiness mixed in. And then, if you're going to add any sparkle or colours or anything else, then add it. That's how you can make sure you've mixed it properly first, before you go clouding the whole issue by putting colours and things in it. So, I'll be back in a moment. Yeah, so as you can see, that's nice and clear. There's a few little micro bubbles in there. They will clear on their own. Now, the plan I've got is this little guy is just going to be a tiny bit of sparkle, and I've got some 80 mesh super sparkle white and lots of flowers. And then this tray, I want the super sparkle white around the edge, kind of fading out towards the middle. So let's do, first of all, let's do the tray. So I'm going to decant some of the resin off into another pot. I don't actually know if I've got enough here. I don't know how much these moulds take. I know I should. But we're going to decant some off, and we're going to do the sparkle. Now, I only want a bit, but this is for around the edges. So there we go. What should happen if I mix it in thoroughly is we'll get just a little bit of sparkle. There we are. Nice and shimmery. And that. So I've mixed that in. You should just get a bit of sparkle. There'll be more sparkle around the edges than in the middle. That's the idea. And in particular, around this rim. See, so it's spilling over a little bit. There we are. Just going to make sure we've got no bubbles in that rim by carefully running my little stir stick, which is just the right width, which is handy, around the edge. It's got rounded edges on it, but I'm still being very gentle because I don't want to go scratching the mould. There we go, and let the resin run back down again. That should have done the job. I do want a bit of sparkle in the rest of it. Back into this pot here. That's most of it anyway. I'll put the lid back on my super sparkle white because I don't want that going everywhere. Like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to need for that little guy there. Mixing this up. As you can see, that's just giving me a tiniest bit of shimmer in there. Sink either, by the way. Now, open our flowers. So for that centre section, I'm going to pour in the resin that's got a lot less sparkle in it. In fact, I might end up mixing up a bit of actual clear. Yeah, I think I will. So this is pretty much clear. There's not much of the super sparkle white in it at all, hopefully. Now we're going to get, like I said, hopefully more sparkle around the outside than in the middle. Now, but don't forget we're working face down, and I'm going pink flowers today. I don't do much pink. I'm just not a very pink girl, I suppose. And what we do is we push them down in the centre so that they don't have any bubbles trapped under them. You can also dip them first. That works a treat. So yeah, you're working face down. So put the prettiest side of your flower downwards, then give it a little poke. You are going to have to clean off your tweezers afterwards, because otherwise you'll end up with resined tweezers. So arrange them just however takes your fancy. Oops. If you push from the middle, it should push any bubbles outwards. That's the idea. And you can see that these are, let's have a white one too, shall we? These are dyed. These white ones are probably their natural colour by the look of it. But these little guys have actually been dyed. And you can tell because the back is pure white. You can see where the dye comes around the edges. Works a treat. I got these from Amazon. It's quite a big pack. And yeah, it does the job. Of course, you can dry your own flowers from your garden. That's always fun to do. Now I'm going to put some of these leafy bits behind them, I think, because I think that really adds depth and dimension to it. And I think I'll put quite a lot. Oh, some little bits. Don't forget you can can break up your flowers a bit if you want to. So you can put little pieces in as well as the big. Oh, that's nice. Let's have a little bit of a sprig of purple. And of course you can trim them down if you want to. If you find the flowers or the greenery bits are too big, you can just trim them down. Just get a little pair of sharp scissors. Let's have another white one over here. Okay, so we've kind of tapped these down into the resin. Clean my tweezers off. Tap them down like this. And we're going to pour the rest of the resin in on the back. But first of all, I want to get some resin into my hippo. So what we're going to do with the hippo to get the... we should find that the flowers will stick to the sides, but of course we could do with a bit of resin in there first. So instead we're going to kind of part fill him, like so, and roll him around a little bit so we get a bit of a coating of resin everywhere. Make him sticky. Oops. Her. Is it a him? Is it a her? I don't know how you tell the gender of a hippo. And we're going to just go around inside with the flowers, sticking them in where we fancy them. And that should ensure that there's a little bit of resin, hopefully, between the flower and the outer side of the resin. There we go, just going to run the resin round as well. There we are. See, that's sunk down. You've got to be really careful not to scratch your mould with your tweezers, of course, at this point. That one's sunk right down into the bottom, but it's on the side, so that should look nice. You do get quite a lot in one of these little cheap packs of flowers. So I think we're doing well here. We've got plenty. And what you probably will find, when the flower gets wet, it gets a bit flexible as well. So you can actually bend it around in some of the little nooks and crannies. So I'm just going to keep shoving all these flowers in, basically. Just thinking about where I want them, you know, what colours I want where. But only roughly. I'm not being too precious about it. We've got a nice big leaf here. I'm just going to stick that to the back there. And I'm pointing the leaves down, you know, to like stalk upwards, because I want it to kind of look like they're growing. I'm going to end up with, you know, more density of flowers in some places than others. I just know I am. And some are falling down into the base. Who knows what they'll do. I think I want a little flower there. And then there's some just like little random green bits that have got little bits of flowers on. I'm just going to pop those in. They'll just land where they land. A bit more resin. You can see there's just that little bit of sparkle in there. And there's a colourful one. Do I want that in there or do I want that here? Let's put him, venture out a bit more towards the edges, I think, on our little tray. There. These can go in here as well. So I've just got to the just poking them in anywhere stage now. Don't forget, if any stick out at the end, you can soon trim them off. There. And back to the tray. We're going to drizzle the clearer. It'll probably push the flowers around. But we're going to drizzle the clearer resin from the centre. We can always push the flowers back around if we want to afterwards. But my idea was to have it clearer in the centre and more sparkle at the outer edges. So we've just got clear going in the middle now. And yes, it's pushing the flowers out. I'll bring them back in a second. And I'm going to have quite a bit of resin left over. And I need to level my table by the look of it. There. Now let's rearrange these flowers. And we're just going to leave it to cure. And clean my tweezers and clean up the almighty mess I've made, as usual. Now what you'll see is some flowers will have sunk, some won't. Just need to make sure that they're all at least covered in resin on the back. If some sink and some don't, that gives you a nice 3D effect. Of course, you could do it in layers to deliberately get a 3D effect. For this one, I'm just making sure they're under. If there's any little bits sticking up afterwards, because there's going to be here and there, then I can just trim those off. There, I think we've got a nice flower arrangement, don't you? Leave that to cure. And I'm going to go and find something to tip the last of this resin in as well. Right, I'll see you later. Right, let's demold these. There we go. So there we have a sparkly resin tray. And see how 3D the flowers look? Because some I pushed down, some floated up, some moved around. And if we've got any little sharp edges here, we've got a very slight one. I'm going to be going around that with a nail file. Nice and easy. So there we go. We've got our little floral sparkly tray. And let's see what our hippo looks like. Just getting that over pour off with my thumbnail. And like I said, this is an IntoResin mould, so it's very, very squishy and easy to demould, even though he's quite chunky. Flowery hippo, I like it. Now what we're going to need to do is get some eyes painted in there, I think. And I'm going to just do that with a marker pen. Okay, nice simple way to do the details on the little hippo. We have a Sharpie pen. Acrylic markers are also great, probably better in some ways. I just find that these Sharpies are more permanent. So we're going in with a Sharpie. I'm going to be doing a second coat on this. For this one, just to give it a little bit more zing while that black's drying, because we have got one more thing to do yet. We're just going to go around the edges. Now, I do get people asking me how to do this, to get that neat line. And I find the easiest way is to hold the pen like that at about a 45-degree angle to your edge and move the piece rather than the pen. And resting my little finger, so that's the easiest way to do the outside, I find. The inside I find a little bit different. I tend to go around it like this. So I'm resting my little finger on the mat and sliding it along. Then of course we turn it. The final touches for the little hippo, just going to get a white pen and put a little dot in his eye like that, just to make them, it just brings them alive. This is just a white acrylic marker pen. With the leftovers, I'd poured some into this little owl mould. This one was from Resin Mold Box. Quite a nice little mould. I like it. But I put some more sparkle in. We have an owl. Need to put some detail in on him, I think, or do I leave him as he is? I'm not sure. So that's how you'd use flowers in a 3D mould, to make sure that you can see them on the outside. And this is how you would use them in a little trinket tray. Use more or less of the sparkle, you can use colours behind it, whatever you like. But basically that is how you get the flowers into your resin and get a nice finish with it. Hope you like that. If you found this helpful, please let me know by putting a comment down below this video, and if you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate that too. It's free, of course. And in the comments, do let me know, are there any other little projects that you'd like me to just demonstrate for you? Because I am aware that we do tend to put a lot of this sort of more advanced stuff into our videos, and kind of sometimes forget that people still want to know the basics, because there's a lot of people just starting out there. So do let me know what you would like to see next. Thanks everyone. See you.